Alright, welcome back to another video. This is going to be a giant TCM 1995. Yeah, big shout out to Josh for delivering this frame and donating it. Appreciate it. He also actually gave me some pedals in the past, which I've been running on my Marin or Marin. So yeah, big shout out to Josh. Thank you. I appreciate it. And yeah, just heads up. Unfortunately, I couldn't get this frame going, but you can watch the process. So yeah, hope you like it. Cheers. All right, here's a friend from Josh. Sometimes when I get bikes that have been left outside, I give them a quick check and just check for bugs and stuff. So yeah, you can see a little spider there. I don't know what's going on there, but it looks pretty nasty. So yeah, I usually give it a spray down the whole bike, spray down all the areas that you think bugs might be. I just use a normal bug spray from Coles. But yeah, you just give it a spray down, and then I usually just wait a day before I work on the bike. But yeah, that's basically it. I don't know if you get this kind of problems in other countries, but yeah, you can see baby spiders here. But yeah, in Australia, if it gets left outside, sometimes you get it. So yeah, just give it a quick spray, and you should be good. Alright, so yeah, this is the giant TCM. They only made one of these in '95. So yeah, this is only the carbon one. Yeah, it's pretty well spec'd. So yeah, starting off with these kind of Ritchie Force light bars, which are pretty nice. Have kind of like a brushed finish to them. Ritchie top cap and Avenir stem. A little shorter stem. They got this little headset thing with kind of two screws. Similar to my other bike, actually. Helps you adjust the pressure of the bearings. But yeah, you can see carbon frame here. These Quadra 5s, I believe, same as the forks I took off the Specialized, but you can see the forks compressed, so it needs fixing. Gary Fisher hubs, but yeah, it was pretty shaky. Could have been a headset too. And then here, some Bontrager rims, old school rims. But yeah, all the spokes seem like they're stainless, or they don't have any rust on them, so that's pretty good. Here's the carbon frame, those old school graphics, pretty cool. Yeah, just a seat post in there, quick release. Yeah, it's not stuck, so that's good. And then here, all carbon fiber graphic, which is a lie because they have metal inside, like the head tube and stuff like that. Here, yeah, just showing you the frame, Dior XT front mech, pretty rusted through. You can see a lot of rust, but I think I'll be able to clean that up. Dior LX cranks, the chain rings are pretty done, I think, on those. Dior XT long cage derailleur, and then the chain's pretty rusted through, and then Mavic SUP, I think, yeah, 217 it looks like, on the rear. And then the hub, I couldn't tell what hub it was, but it looks like an LX, Dior LX hub, I think. And then the rear cassette is kind of small as well, so yeah, you don't really need to run a long cage with a small cassette like that. But maybe the person switched it out. You can see those little spiders again. But yeah, that's basically it. Pretty cool frame, pretty light. Pretty excited to build this up. And then yeah, it came with these parts as well. Josh put them all in these Ziploc bags, so they're super organized. Yeah, these XTR Canty, V brakes. Yeah, so yeah, top of the range. They should brush up pretty good as well. So yeah, I think someone must have upgraded them at some point. Came with this Dior LX left shifter. I've never seen this style before with kind of like the metal on top. And then it came with 2 right levers. So I think someone put one on the left hand side, but yeah, DX lever and also an LX right-handed lever. And then yeah, these just Walgo pedals, blue pedals that match the bike. So yeah, that's basically it. So yeah, we're going to clean this up and see what we can do with it. All right. So first thing, so yeah, basically just I used a plastic bag and just some paper towels and wiped down the whole bike just because it had like a lot of spider webs and stuff, and just wearing gloves to keep my hands clean. Yeah, just taking off the wheel here. If you remember, yeah, underside, underneath the fork, there was like all that gunk, so I want to get rid of that first. So yeah, just using, I didn't want to use my fingers, just use some pliers here to get it out. But yeah, I think basically a spider probably made a little home for themselves in there to kind of catch food or whatever. But yeah, so basically I just try to get all the stuff out, and then I didn't know what was in that hole, so I just sprayed it again just to be doubly sure. Just yeah, it's probably nothing, but yeah, in Australia sometimes you get some poisonous spiders, so I'm not taking any chances. So here, yeah, just taking off the chain. Pretty rusted. I tried using my chain breaker tool, but it was like real tough, so I ended up just hacksawing it off. And then here, yeah, just taking off the rear mech and the front mech, no problems there. Taking off the cranks was pretty easy as well. The bolts came off really, really loose. Yeah, just make sure you wind your tool straight in and make it tight before you wind down the other bolt to get it off, and it should be fine. But yeah, this comes off. And here I'm just spraying a little bit of WD-40 on all the areas where I think it's going to be tight or where there's a little bit of rust. And this usually helps get rid of, some of the rust and helps loosen things up a little bit. Here's a little tip I use with tight bolts. I like clamp down on an Allen key and then use a little hammer just to tap it to relieve the pressure. Sometimes it helps breaks the seal of the rust or whatever is done. But yeah, this is kind of like, just be super careful when you're doing this, because obviously you're going to put a lot of pressure on the bolt head. But yeah, it's a technique that's worked for me numerous times. Yeah, this bolt was kind of tight here, so I just ended up spraying with the WD-40, weighting it, and just taking off the stem while I waited. And here, yeah, I undid the top cap, but the stem wouldn't come off, so you can see inside that it's kind of a little bit corroded with the rust. So what I decided to do here was just just spray it with some penetrating oil to help loosen that up. And then I just sprayed the other areas where there was some rust in the bolts as well, just to help that, because it was pretty tough. So yeah, I ended up putting the handlebars back on just to get more leverage, and yeah, it popped off. So yeah, this was kind of like an issue here with this bolt. I tried doing the tap method, wouldn't work. There's no way I could get it off. So yes, I used a little bit more leverage with that shifter as well. It was like super tough. Used a hammer, and then I ended up just like stripping that bolt because it was like super stuck in there. So there's different ways you can get rid of stuck bolts. You can kind of drill them out, but I don't have a drill, so I ended up just using a hacksaw since I was going to replace this headset anyway. So yeah, I basically just hacksawed down the down where the bolt was, where the gap bolt was, and then try to just create a little bit of leverage just to break that bolt. So yeah, of course, when you're hacksawing, just be careful, take it slow. This is sped up, so it looks a little bit easier, but yeah, I actually took a bit of time doing this, but then yeah, eventually I was able kind of just like able to wedge it out. So yeah, this is this headset cap. Maybe it's a headset brace thing, I don't know what it's called, but I thought it was 2 pieces. It's actually just 1 piece. So that's probably why I was having a tough time getting it off. But yeah, I've already loosened the other bolt, so it was just kind of stuck in the top bolt. Here I was just like inspecting the frame, cleaning the headset caps here. I noticed there was a few little cracks here or scratches. I wasn't sure, so yeah, I was going to check that out later. And then here I was tipping the frame side to side and I heard water in there, and this is kind of like removing oil from a bike frame, which is pretty funny, but just unscrewed it and then water came out. And then here I just wiped down the whole frame with WD-40 because it had a lot of gunk on there. And then here I noticed there was like a bunch of cracks, or 3 main cracks. So there's this crack, it's pretty small near the head tube, and then it goes along the side a little bit, but I think the side ones are scratches. And then here on the down tube there's this, I think a pretty big crack that goes from one side to the other, so I don't think that's a scratch because it's hard to scratch the tube like that. And then here near the bottom bracket there's this bigger crack, which I thought was pretty suspect. So yeah, I didn't know too much about carbon frames, but I did a bunch of research. And also ran a poll on my Instagram to see what other people think. So yeah, it was kind of iffy. So one test that you can do is kind of like a coin test, and you can tap it, and if it sounds, if you get a different tone on where the crack is, then it's gonna be not good. But the problem with this test is the tubing is different thicknesses, so that's going to affect the sound. So yeah, it's kind of hard to tell just by tapping, in my opinion, to know for sure. So here I'm just tapping this area, and you can kind of hear it sound a tiny bit different. But yeah, I don't know if you can hear that, but basically I think just with so many cracks, I think this frame was toast. So the only way to know for sure is kind of sand it down and take a look. So I ended up just using 600 wet and dry sandpaper, and then I just use that detergent spray as I go, just to sand it down. You can just use water with wet and dry. Is to stop the sandpaper from clogging up. But yeah, I basically just took my time, sanded it down, and then you can kind of see what happens after I sand it down. You can kind of notice there was a crack in there, which is a bit of a bummer actually. So yeah, sometimes there might be different seams on carbon or different places where they taped it, where it's more square. But if it's like a crack where it looks like a crack and there's those dark black areas, and it looks, kind of deformed, the carbon looks deformed, then that's going to be a crack for sure. So yeah, that, for me, this definitely looks like a crack. So yeah, unfortunately I'm going to have to retire this frame. So yeah, so me looking at this crack, not knowing anything about carbon fiber frames except for what I know on the internet, I decided to kind of sand down the other side to see what it looks like, just to be doubly sure. So yeah, I ended up just sanding down the other side of this frame, and you can see here at the bottom, you can see a tiny crack, but the carbon's all smooth. And on the right hand side where you see that little L, I think that might be just like a carbon tape. But yeah, if you compare it to the other side, there's no way that could be just carbon tape taped like that. So yeah, that's definitely, I decided, hey, this is definitely a crack. I'm not going to spend, tons of time and money getting this back up. So yeah, unfortunately this frame is going to have to get retired. But yeah, hopefully this helps anyone out there that might have a cracked frame. So yeah, there you go. Alright, that's the video. Hope you liked it. Unfortunately, I was unable to get the frame going, but hey, sometimes that's the way it goes. Sometimes the bear is you. Yeah, hopefully it helps a few people out. Yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Would you run it? And yeah, stay tuned for more videos. Peace.